I have set myself the challenge to build the ultimate stealth camper van that could be easily mistaken for a commercial vehicle from the outside, but be a fully functioning luxury camper van on the inside, complete with sign writing, a bulkhead with a secret door, and hidden solar panels on the roof. And today, I need to get my diesel heater fitted. None of this diesel heater install would be possible without this bad boy here, which is the Bluetti AC240. And the reason why this is probably the most important thing in this installation of this diesel heater is all because of this right here. This is a 12 volt 30 amp DC socket. Not only is this power station gonna power all of the electrics in my van, that part there is so important. And the reason is because when a diesel heater is on warm up, it uses 15 amps. And most normal 12 volt DC sockets are only 10 amps. So that's why this guy is the one that you need. I'm going to be installing the diesel heater under the driver's seat, so the first job for today is getting the seat out. So this is it. I went for a 2 kilowatt one because, I mean, they're ample big enough. I mean, I've got one in my Transit, which is a lot bigger van than what this is, and it keeps it really nice and warm. So I went for another 2 kilowatt. I mean, first thing I'm gonna have to do is cut away this rubber matting and then go from there. Now I must say the hardest bit of this is just working out where to drill the hole, because it's going to be a very big hole that I'm drilling, because essentially it'll be it's for the turret to go down and then the diesel heater clamps to this. So I think I've worked it out. Gonna need a little bit of filing, I think. And with the diesel heater in as well. So when that's actually down flush, I don't actually need to cut any of the base plate away, because the turret's actually raising up the diesel heater. So that's good news. So as you may see around here, because of these raised bits, when the turret is actually in there, where you drill into the bodywork, is actually raised off the ground. So what I'm going to have to do is put a bit of wood in there and a bit of wood on that side as well, just so that that will then sit flush on the wood. It's almost like having a ply floor. And then I'll just drill straight through. Yes, I know, it looks well ugly, doesn't it? But it'll do the job. Assembling the diesel heater is fairly straightforward. If you, well, the box does come with instructions in it, but they don't actually give you any sort of information about where anything goes. So first off, we're going to get these bolts screwed in. They're pretty much like, they're just self-tapping almost. I don't know. Just screw them in like this. So this here is where the fuel pipe goes in, and when you're connecting these, you have one exhaust pipe and one air intake pipe. The exhaust pipe is always the furthest away from the diesel in, so exhaust goes on this side, air intake goes on that side. First and foremost though, we need to get our turret on, like so. And then we connect these. In my last van I installed this green hose and everyone told me, oh, it's not very good, it deteriorates and everything. I believe the max speeding rod's diesel heater actually comes, this is actually an uprated one. So, and I've had no problems with it in the Transit anyway. I'm sticking with it, I'm not going to replace it. So now we're going to just fix the fuel line into the bottom of the diesel heater. This is going to come out underneath the van, but because the fuel pump is going to be inside the van, it means that I'm going to have to drill another hole, put a grommet in it, and then feed this pipe back up into the van. But for now, that just needs to be connected. Then we just pop it on there. Here's a little trick if you can't actually get underneath your van like I can at the moment to feed that pipe back through that hole. Get yourself a couple of cable ties, stick the cable ties down through the hole with a little loop on the end, and then fasten it to the pipe and then just pull it up. Simple. Alright, this is the air intake. That's going to get cable tied up there, like that. The exhaust on the other hand, which is this pipe here, I could have it sort of pointing out like that. This is the main exhaust for the van, so I don't really want to get in the way of that. But it could just go like that. Oh, that could work. Right there. I've got something in my eye then. Probably should be wearing goggles. This is what happens, right? I've not jacked the van up, I've not got axle stands or anything. I just don't trust any of that on this uneven surface, so I'd much rather squeeze in under this tiny gap than have the whole thing sort of collapse on me. So I'd rather struggle. Right, so what I've done is I've put a bracket in here to secure that there, and then this part just sort of hangs down like that. You can't actually see from up here. It's always important to make sure that your drain hole, this little hole here on your exhaust, it's always facing the bottom. The reason, I'm just going to lay here because I'm shattered. The reason why that's on the bottom is so that if any moisture gets up there, any rainwater or anything, it's got somewhere to drain out. I did put my safety goggles on because I kept getting grit in my eyes, but I believe that this is all right to have it sort of at a slight downward angle like that. I can't see why that wouldn't be all right. Come on. Now, because the diesel heater has its own fuse here, I've actually wired it straight up to the electric bus bar, so it doesn't actually have to go through the other fuse board. The only problem with that is that if I ever need to change the fuse, I'll have to take this side out or disconnect this, get my hand through and then pull it through. So I might actually untape that bit just so that I can remove it quickly if I need to. So here's my plan for the diesel heater. So it's currently situated under there. My plan is to put the tank behind the passenger seat, just in here. I am going to cut it into the wall, I think, just to give it a little bit of extra protection. So I've got this diesel line here and I need to get it somehow over to this side. And I came up with an idea. This metal pole that I got from B&Q, I'm going to feed the diesel pipe through this, and then this pipe will then sit across here like this, nice and tidy once I've cut it down. So then the diesel pipe can then run all the way along there, and it's protected because obviously this is going to be a walkway, and I don't want to be sort of like stepping on it or damaging the line when I'm coming in and through this door. So that's why it's going to go into that pipe. And then all the extra wires that need to go through into the diesel pump will also just run under this rubber matting here. That's the theory, and I'm sticking to it. So now the pipe runs all the way through here. There's a bit of the pipe there, and then it comes out through this little hole, and then that goes then down in through the floor and into the diesel heater. I appreciate that I probably could have ran that just underneath the van, but it's fine. It is what it is. Here's a little trick for you, just get some boiling water or just some hot water, dip your fuel lines in it just to soften them up, and then you'll get them on the nipples a lot easier. So I put a couple of clips in just to tidy this up, and it goes all the way back into there. So now all I need to do is cut this back, put the tank in there, oh, and plug this wire into there as well. I'll probably pipe that in nicely as well. So now we have the pipe, which will eventually have a little wide piece on it that comes out this way, and then it will just be out there. Not that side though. I don't know if they do like an L-shaped version of this. Either way, or I could just sort of bend this round. Not a problem. Now one thing I do want to do is I'm going to move this bus bar to underneath. Well, I'm just going to move them all that way, just so that I've got enough space away from this, because this pipe will get hot. It's not going to get very hot, but it will get warm, and I don't want that affecting my electrics. You can see through this rat's nest of wires, the live bus bar is now on the wall, and the earth has just been moved along, so they're nice and far away from that pipe. I will tell you a bit more about some of the other features that this power station's got, but first, you may notice it's actually a little bit taller than the AC200L that I've already got in there. By about 2 inches, I think. So I need to modify the hull to get this in. Oh yeah, you beauty. Right, and now that that's all installed, let's get some diesel in the tank and get this fired up. I'm only going to put a little bit in, because let's face it, I'm not going to be using it for a while, so just a little bit of diesel. Now, this one here is actually got 1,536 watt hours, which is less than the AC200L that I've already got in there. But that's not an issue, because last time I used the Bluetti power station to power an entire van, and I literally used everything that I possibly could and put through that. I only actually used 40% of the battery over a 24-hour period, so I'm not really that concerned. But if I find that I do need a bit of extra power, I can just add an expansion battery, and that just plugs in just through the side here. It has 2 USB-C 100 watt outputs, 2 USB-A 18 watt outputs, and 4 AC sockets as well. It has a DC input, which is for charging the power station off the solar panel or through the cigarette lighter in the front of the van when you're driving. It also has an AC input, which is for electric hookup or charging it inside your house if you want to take it in there. And it also has an AC parallel port, which I'm not sure what that does. I'll get back to you. Okay, so I'm just editing this video, and it says on the Bluetti website
The parallel ports on the Bluetti AC power stations allows users to connect multiple units together to increase the power output. So it's pretty much just another way of expanding your capacity. Okay, back to the video.
So in order for all of this to work, normally you'd use something like this to plug in your 12 volt into the Bluetti. Now that's if you're going into the regular 12 volt 10 amp, which is like a normal sort of car cigarette lighter that you would normally have. But as I mentioned earlier, this 12 volt 30 amp socket is what's going to allow us to power the diesel heater. So you do need one of these. It's pretty much the same cable that they use to plug this into the solar panels. Now, you can get these from the Bluetti website. However, when I was ordering mine, they were out of stock. So I had to make this one. All I would say is that, I mean, obviously this is temporary. I'm going to put the proper one in eventually. But if you want to do anything like this in your van and you want to sort of get one of these, what they call an RV hardwiring socket, they're called something like that anyway, and they're out of stock, then I will put a link to where I got this from. So whereas this one here would be plugged in like that, and that can rattle around, it can get loose and just pull out. This one, it's such a better connection. You lift that up and literally you just press it in and it clicks, and that's it. That ain't going nowhere now. So now that's installed, we can go DC, turn that on, turn some lights on. So now we should be able to turn this switch on here. This should turn on the diesel heater. Excellent. And now we just need to prime it. Let's see if this works. This always takes forever. Just so you understand the passing of time, I've been doing this for about 10 minutes now. There it is, it's running. We have heat. So that is how you power not only the diesel heater, but pretty much everything in the van off the Bluetti AC240. Now, like always, if you do want to buy yourself any Bluetti products, I do have a discount code, which I'll link below. But also, my friends over at Bluetti are doing a bit of a giveaway. As a thank you not only to me for showcasing their products over the last year, but also as a thank you to you for tuning in and watching. They're giving away an AC50B power station to one lucky winner. And if you want to enter to win, all you need to do is leave a comment in this video with the word Bluetti in it, and then I will get somebody, I won't do it myself because I'd like to get other people to choose these sort of giveaways that I do. I'll get somebody to choose a random message that says Bluetti, and then you will get shipped out the power station. They haven't sent it to me, I've asked them literally just to post it to whoever wins, so it doesn't matter whether you live in the UK, Australia, America or anywhere, they will ship it. So that'll save me a bit of money as well. So best of luck, get commenting. If you notice, most of this video has been facing this way on the build because you can't see that yet. That's not ready. That's coming up in a future video. But as always, thank you to everybody that supports the channel through buying me a beer, through the link in the description, or through my memberships. You're all absolute legends. But other than that, I'll see you next week. Cheers!